this year, unlike this past year, we're focusing on what was our crackdown on crack in the mid-1980s. Just to give you a little bit of an idea. Crack cocaine was an unknown entity in the early 80s. The drug that was being used was powder cocaine. Obviously, powder cocaine costs some coin. So most people could not at all afford powder cocaine. That generally was available to the wealthy, the upper middle class. It might be available at parties, but you didn't see people doing powder cocaine out in the streets. It was just unaffordable for them. So guys who were dealing in reefer and heroin at that time, they're figuring out, how can we make this a commodity like any other product that's affordable by street people, by people on limited income? Because that's really where the volume is going to be. And so up in Washington Heights, they began to experiment in taking the raw powder cocaine, mixing it with chemicals, putting yeast in it, putting it in a tray the same way you make a cake right before Thanksgiving. And they put it in an oven, heat it up, and all of a sudden, the cocaine remnants would mix with the chemicals and it would rise just like a cake. And so then they would take that out, take it out of the oven, they'd let it cool off, and then they'd start chipping away. And that's where the whole concept of crack came. It was just a crack chip off of what had become this cake-like substance. And what you had to do with this, unlike powder cocaine, is smoke it. That's the only way you can get a high. So there were already pipes available, so they started to quantify what was a crack pipe. And this is what would beam the user up to Scotty. And at first, it was extraordinarily cheap. You could get a vial of crack for $2 in the streets. The Dominicans had perfected it up in Washington Heights. The cops, by 1984, they didn't even have a brass one. They couldn't understand it. They understood what happens when somebody smokes reefer, somebody injects heroin, some of the other drugs that were available at that time, Quaaludes, but they had no idea how to deal with crackheads who were in perpetual motion 24/7, 365. They barely would sleep. So naturally, they had to keep feeding the beast. So it wasn't about getting one hit or maybe 2 hits a day. It's like constant hits. So for instance, if I could crack up 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 20 times, the more I could get, the better. And that meant, because they didn't have income that was easily attained in the banks, they had to go out and start stealing. That's where all of a sudden you saw cars being broken into, people being robbed. Anything they could get their hands on that they could pawn or get some money in return of, the crackheads were doing it. So in Washington Heights, it was the first place that we were invited to come in and crack down on crack. It was up in Sugar Hill, a combination of African American and a growing Dominican community. The cops were $1 short a day late. At the time, Thomas Hunt was our chapter leader. He's now helping Third Rail in Chicago. And he was living out of our headquarters, which was a basement. And we were battling the crack dealers. And the cops had no idea that this was even a crime. Crack, what's crack? So the crack zombies began to emerge. And they started to turn some of the empty buildings into crack houses. And then it was constant traffic in and out, constant traffic in and out. But we had kept that block and a few surrounding blocks crack-free. So some of the theater owners here in Times Square had heard about what we had done uptown. So they wanted to set up a Guardian Angel headquarters right here in the heart of Times Square. Back then, constant crime, constant drugs, hookers, prostitutes, triple X-rated theaters controlled by organized crime. Everyone was trying to rip people off. So that if you weren't doing it physically, people were running con games, especially taking advantage of a lot of people coming out of the Port Authority there, the bus terminal, which is the largest in America. But it was constant, it was non-stop. In fact, you'd walk through Times Square at times, you'd feel like you'd have to take a shower afterwards. Not that anything happened to you, just the atmosphere. It was like every square inch, there was a hustle going on. So we were given the headquarters right above what was called the Lyceum Theater at the time. It was dark. The theater was out of business. Basically, it was a place for rats, mice, roaches. It barely had electricity. The toilet would work from time to time. And we opened up a 24-hour headquarters and did a crackdown on crack right here on 42nd Street in the heart of Times Square. Well, let me tell you something. The cops, again, had no idea how to deal with this struggle. No idea even what crack was. We had to educate them. And that's when we perfected what we call the slam and jam techniques. So if you had crack, we were going to take it from you on your pipe and destroy it. If you had sizable amounts of crack that you were dealing, and at that time, they were dealing like handfuls of it, as if they had M&Ms in their hands. And they did it boldly and openly. The cops did nothing. Back then, uniformed police officers were not permitted to make drug arrests. All they were responsible for doing was calling back either Midtown South, which is nearby on 35th Street, or Midtown North, which is a few blocks north of here on 8th Avenue, call it into the DT's office, and then hopefully the DT's would come in and make an arrest, and that never happened. So the dealing was non-stop. And again, we made a stand here. Then the building was condemned. Nobody could occupy it. It was actually in danger of collapsing. But the theater owners here, the ones who are still in business, they still wanted our presence. So we moved across the street and get the name of the theater there. You may have seen some of the film of us coming up and down the fire escapes. These black fire escapes. It went about 8 to 10 floors up. We were on the 10th floor. There was no electricity. There was no heat. There was no toilet. The only food available to us was late at night, one food run, and nearby Popeyes, which was a few doors down, would give us whatever was left in the bin, whatever chicken, whatever other ancillary products. And that's what the guys and the gals lived on, and we had a 24-hour presence. And we actually did a lot of good. But the problems that we had were enormous. They were everywhere. They were on 7th Avenue. They were on 8th Avenue. There was an arcade here on the corner here, in which you used to go down, you'd have to pass the arcade in order to get into the 8th Avenue line, the A train, and also get access to all the other lines. Constant gangbangers there. They controlled that arcade. So every time we go in and out, there'd be fights. We'd have to fight in the streets. We'd have to fight on our way into headquarters, fight on our way out of headquarters, because the dogs would get there before they get us. Because we'd make citizens arrest. We'd force the hand of the police, who by now were beginning to understand what crack was. Understanding it was a felony crime. And even though they didn't want to make arrests, what are they going to do? We caught a guy with 120 vials. We caught somebody with 180 vials. Right there in a paper bag with lots of money in there. So they couldn't overlook that. They had to follow up on it. So we were beginning to make our bones here. But you can imagine, from this outpost first, about 1985, that outpost across the street, about 1986. We had to cover not just this street, but we had to cover the Port Authority, where all the crackheads and crack dealers and the pimps and the pushers would go, especially the pimps, because they'd be waiting for the buses to come in, and they'd try to get the young ladies coming in who maybe were runaways. And immediately, all these single-room occupancy hotels that existed here were nothing but dives for drug dealers and obviously pimps and prostitutes and johns. It was that bad. And then we extended our patrol over to Bryant Park there, which we'll go into. Now, you know, it's sort of like this Christmas heaven. You sit in those shops. They have an ice rink that's set up part of the year. People can go out there for a lunch hour at night. They'll show movies on occasions. It couldn't get better. Back then, forget about it. There were prostitutes that were pulling tricks in the bushes. There were pimps outside protecting them. Obviously making deals with johns. All kinds of drug dealing activity. Gangs would be in there. And basically the city had given up. So from 6th Avenue, Bryant Park, 7th Avenue, gateway to Times Square, 8th Avenue to the Port Authority was a seething cesspool of criminal activity. And the city basically was waving the white flag. They weren't doing anything. All they were basically saying is, if there's a dead body, if somebody stabbed, if somebody got raped, I would react. But anything else, they were almost ignoring. The gangs ruled, the pimps ruled, the pushers ruled, and the crackhead zombies, they were everywhere. They knew they could come in here and score crack. They could come in from Jersey, take any one of those buses, score crack here, beat themselves up to Scotty. They could come in on all the subway systems because almost every one of them fed through Times Square, score their crack. And they could do it openly. It's almost like a red light district. So that's how our crackdown on crack started. First in Washington Heights, and then because of the success there, where crack was first invented, and then became a fixture of Times Square. Nobody was doing anything, only the guardian angel. Then I'll take you to where our permanent headquarters came about in Fort Apache. Any questions so far about our city in the Anything at all? Before we go to the old Fort Apache, we'll go through the Port Authority, and I'll give you a little bit of a tour of what used to go on there, the activity that used to go on there that was fast and furious. And that was supposed to be patrolled by the Port Authority cops. You almost never saw them. They pretty much stayed in their vestibules and their headquarters, and it was rampant crime. I mean, people would be getting on board buses at that time with duffel bags filled with crack, going south to D.C. and Baltimore where they could get a better price. 9mm handguns right there, like constant traffic to and from. The Port Authority was the pipeline for crack into other areas of the Northeast because a dealer here realized, hey, they're like 10 dealers. Why fight the competition when I can go to an outer area in Maryland or Washington, D.C. or Pennsylvania or Philly or parts of Jersey, and I'm the only dealer there and I can charge a premium price. So that was the problem then. And this became sort of like the conduit. This became sort of the place where crack was going out with guns and thugs and gangs. Pimps were taking advantage of the young girls, turning them into hookers. And this place was just a seething cesspool of constant criminal activity. And the cops doing little if anything. Any questions? Okay. Yep. Oh yeah, because of the runaway situation, even those that weren't lured into prostitution. A lot of them were over at Covenant House on 40th Street, down in 10th Avenue. One of our guardian angels was there for a while, Justice. So he sort of described for us what was taking place inside. Wasn't that well organized, that well disciplined, well intentioned, well meaning. Because if they didn't have Covenant House, they really had nowhere to go. Pimps were always offering, mostly young ladies, but sometimes young boys, a place to stay, and then they pimp them out. And naturally, once they got addicted, mostly to crack, but it was also to heroin and other drugs, or they just had them on a leash. And they would walk around with them, and you would say, he's an older man, it's not his son, it's not his nephew or niece, doing with a young child like this, a young girl or a young boy. They were pimping them out right in the open. Right in the open. No hesitation. Surrounded by other pimps. You know, you'd see them, they were like past characters out of the 70s black exploitation movies, Superfly, TNT, greasy, weird color ensembles, fedoras. They'd have like pink slacks, red jackets, you know, really ostentatious. They really looked absurd, but they fit the times. And everybody knew you would go up to them and negotiate a deal. A lot of times they would take their hookers across the, right through the Lincoln Tunnel, and they had those no-tell, motel, strip motels. They're like $19 a night, house them all there, and bring them back into Times Square all the way to 11th Avenue. 11th Avenue is the walk, the strip. So they'd actually go from outside of the Jacob Javits Convention Center, 40th Street, 11th Avenue, all the way down to 34th, and that was the stroll at night. And the hookers would be going up and down, the pimps would be there with their Eldorados and their Fleetwoods, Cops would be nowhere in sight. And guys would be driving in from New Jersey. Like you'd see them at the time. They were blue license plates in New Jersey. We call them blue bozos. Sometimes there was so much traffic. They were back-to-back, belly-to-belly. There'd be 10, 11 cars in a row waiting in service. No cops in sight. And eventually, when we ended up with the headquarters over on the west side, that was years later, we pretty much stopped that as much as we could. Without us, that would have been open air 24/7, 365. Any other questions? Okay, go that way.
Get it?